بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So we said the methodology of our imams in coaching and raising their students was based on three important dimensions. How did they nurture and raise their students? Number one, through tarbiyah and tamreen, which is exercise. He wants them to exercise, to learn how to process the ijtihad, how to process the derivation of the law. So that was number one, and we spoke about this previously. Extensively we spoke about it. And we gave examples of the imams training and teaching and coaching their students and encouraging them and giving them the maxims so they would derive the rules out of these maxims or the fatwas. And even they encourage them to go and sit in the mosque and in public places, so when people come asking for someone, you are there, you are ready, make yourself available, share your knowledge with others. That was number one, tamreen. Number two, the imams emphasized ta'leef. Ta'leef is authoring. This is ta'leef. Ta'leef in Arabic, which is to author, which is to write papers, write essays, write books. And usually they would ask their students when they sit in the class, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, when they sit in the class, that don't just sit and listen, you have to write. See how many hadiths here emphasizing the writing. Imam said, Uktubu Abu Abdullah. These are good hadiths to write. Al-Imam al-Sadiq, Abu Abdullah al-Sadiq, alayhi salam, saying, اكتبوا فإنكم لا تحفظون حتى تكتبوا. اكتبوا فإنكم لا تحفظون. I'll translate this. حتى, unless تكتبوا. Write. When you listen, write. Have a pen and paper ready, because you are not going to learn. تحفظ here, تحفظون, is learning. You are not going to learn unless you write. Unless you write. Use your arm. The Prophet said to one of the Sahabis, استعن على حفظك بيمينك. Help yourself to learn with your right arm. Because they used to write in the right. Right arm means writing. Right arm. Because they use it for writing. And this is a psychological point. When you just listen, you don't take notes, you leave. By the time you leave, you wake up tomorrow, everything is gone. But when you put it in writings, you put it on paper, you look at it, sometimes you go back to it, then it will stay with you. This is number one hadith. The second one, Mufaddal ibn Umar. This is one of the students of Imam al-Sadiq. His name is Mufaddal. Al-Mufaddal ibn Umar. He says, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam said, what did he say? He said, اكتب وبث علمك في إخوانك. اكتب, start writing. وبث, and share. وبث, share your knowledge. علمك في, among إخوانك. Start writing. اكتب means writing. اكتب. وبث, disseminate. وبث, disseminate, share. علمك, your knowledge, في, among, إخوانك, your brethren. Write and share your knowledge with your. Meaning, when you write, make your paper available. Don't just keep it for yourself. وبث علمك في إخوانك. فإن مت, if you die, فورث, bequeath your books, بنيك, your children. Pass down your books that you have written, the knowledge that you have gathered all these years, pass it down to your children. Something sad. Something sad happens in the community. I see many people when their parents, elderly parents die, they bring their books and they dump them here in the mosque. It says, my mother died yesterday, so this is her books. But if it was jewelry, if it was, precious stones, if it was, artwork, they would not dump them because people do not appreciate ilm. They don't appreciate these books. So Imam is saying to him that your books that you wrote and others wrote, bequeath them, pass them down. These are treasures. Pass them down to your children. فورث كتبك بنيك. فإنه, Imam al-Sadiq continues to say, فإنه, one day, يأتي على الناس زمان, one day, a day comes, زمان هرج. Haraj means lawlessness, anarchy, haraj and marj, they say. Harj and marj. Haraj means a day people do not appreciate knowledge, okay? But the good ones, ما يأنسون فيه إلا بكتبهم. You're going to enjoy your books. The only enjoyment you're going to have during that time of anarchy and lawlessness and amusement is your books. So keep your books. Don't send them away. Keep them and pass them down to your children. So they emphasized, we are speaking about the second dimension, authoring, ta'lif. Imams always encourage their students to write and share. Write and share. When you go to the class, write what you are doing because you're going to gather many papers and then pass them down to the next generation. Share them with your brothers. Another hadith from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, he says, احتفظوا, keep, احتفظوا, keep secure, keep protected. احتفظوا بكتبكم, keep your books, don't spoil them. فإنكم سوف تحتاجون إليها. فإنكم سوف تحتاجون إليها. You will. فإنكم سوف means will. سوف. You will need them. تحتاجون. You need them in the future. Don't throw the book away. Don't throw the book away. Book contains knowledge. Don't throw your papers away because one day you're going to need them as a reference. You're going to need these books. Some of you, if you write, if you are a writer, if you have written essays and articles and books, sometimes you write the book, after 20 years you come to your book, oh, I didn't know I wrote this. You don't even remember. Becomes something fresh for you. For you, the author who wrote the book, you look at that article, wow, 20 years ago I wrote this? I didn't know. Subhanallah. So you refresh your memory. Sometimes you forgot what you said, what you wrote. So when you keep it as a reference, you go back to it. It's going to be of benefit to you, let alone others. To you, the author himself is going to use it, let alone others. So they emphasized writing. Writing, so you don't keep it to yourself. You're going to use your own writings and you're going to share it with others. One of our teachers told us a story one day. He said there were two brothers. Both of them are scholars. One of them is more learned than the second. But that one who is more learned was lazy. The second one who was less learned was very active. So the second one started writing books. Now, after 500 years, we only know the second one. We don't know the first one. Though the first one has more knowledge than the second one. But history has forgotten the first one. Because he didn't leave anything. People only know his brother. They don't know that he had a brother, this brother who's popular. He had a brother who had more knowledge than him, but he did not leave any legacy. He died and he's forgotten. Whereas his brother who has less knowledge is not forgotten because he left a legacy. That is the difference. Many people are lazy. They are knowledgeable, they don't share their knowledge. When they die, khalas. Nobody remembers them. You only remember those who left their print on the society. So you have to share and you have to think. And then the hadith says, anyone who dies is going to be shut off from this world, has no access, khalas. Except 3 windows are still open. You have 3 windows where you can still tap into them and get benefit from them. While you are in the akhirah, you can still get the benefit from the dunya here. Through 3 channels, 3 windows. Window number 1 is what? This is one of them. But number 1, what is number 1? The Prophet says, إِذَا مَاتَ ابْنُ آدَمَ, once we die, انقطع, he's shut off. أَمَلُهُ, his hope, وَعَمَلُهُ, and his deed from this dunya. You have no hope, khalas. We left you here 70 years, you were supposed to work. Now, you are shut off. Don't say, I have $10 billion sitting. So what? They are not your money anymore. It used to be your money, but you didn't use it. Now it is not your money. But there are 3 channels you can tap into them still. You can use them after your death. Number 1, علم ينتفع به الناس. Knowledge, your books, your essays, your articles, ilm, your theories that you left behind for 40 years, 50 years. Ilm. People are studying your book, you know. Both those people, I know them, and I'm a student of both of them. Both of them are dead. This class and the next class. Both of them are my teachers. One from the eastern province of Saudi Arabia, Qatif. One originally from Karbala, but he died in Qom. I know them. My teachers, both of them are dead. But we are using their books. They are gone, but thousands and thousands of people are using their knowledge. So they are not dead. I remember their name. I recite Fatiha for them. So they still can tap into what they left, into what they saved. This is number 1. علم ينتفع به الناس. And ilm, true, this is good ilm, but anything ينتفع به الناس, anything benefits the humanity and mankind, anything. It could be physics, it could be medicine, it could be geography, geology, anything that really brings benefit to the community. The second one is, yours was the third one. So what is the second one? Second resource. وَصَدَقَةٌ جَارِيَةٌ. He built a mosque. The story of the man I told you, the Lebanese man who said, my father came back from West Africa, multimillionaire, because he worked in the gym business there. So he gathered huge fortune. He came back to Lebanon. So he started buying ranches, farms, buildings, lands, homes. And then he built one mosque. Now, after 70 years, everything that he purchased is gone except the masjid. We remember my grandfather through the masjid. Though he purchased many lands, but these lands are gone to his children. They took them. Nobody remember him. The only thing which remained that remind us of my grandfather, we remember him, the masjid that he built in the village. This is Baqiyatul Salihat. This is Sadaqah Jariyah. Because when you buy something private for you, your kids are going to take it away. Especially your kids who are raised in America, alhamdulillah. They know nothing but money. No more values. We were raised in conservative societies. We hear the adhan, we see the ziyarah, the ulama, the masjid, back and forth to the masjid. And still we are clinging to our faith, Still, we are struggling to remain faithful to do our 5 daily prayers. What will happen to our children who don't even, not even once a year they go to the mosque? Are they going to keep their faith in the future? I don't know. I hope so. I don't know about that. The environment is different. From the day I opened my eyes, I see my father praying. Either jama'ah in the mosque or at home or salatul layl. Now, when I go to Kaaba, I open the door at 2 a.m. So these images are here about my father. But are we the same to our children? They see us always praying, or they see us doing something else? I don't know. So second, sadaqatun jariyah. Sadaqah, it could be small. It could be $1,000. Someone was digging wells in Africa, remote villages in Tanzania, in Kenya, which cost him, with their currency, $1,000. $1,000 is what? How much you spend here? How much is your credit card payment every month? $1,000, he says, this is Baqiyatul Salihat. I'm going to go, my wealth is going to be dispersed. People are going to take, my kids are waiting for me to die, but I need to leave something. I need to, bring some life to this village through these wells. Small project, not a huge project. I went to a remote area in one of the countries, and I saw people bringing the water from the mountain through pipes. The water is there, fresh water, but the village does not have water. The only thing they do is to bring it, pump it from the mountain to the village. That's it. Very cheap. But they really resurrected the whole area because people, they survive on water. They survive. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. Animals, humans, drinking, irrigation, everything. Smaller projects. Reviving a whole village. This is Baqiyatul Salihat. And the third one, righteous offspring. He dies, but he has sons and daughters who are righteous, who are following the right path, who are serving Islam, serving religion, serving the community, serving Ahlul Bayt. That person also is going to tap into these resources. He's dead, but he still gets the credit. Do you see some, it's not very good example, but makes this, when someone writes a book or he's in a movie, then they give him royalty. Even after 30, 40 years, when they show the movie somewhere, they make copies of these movies, he gets percentage. He gets $20. Someone was telling me, I acted in a movie 30 years ago. I still get from time to time a check, $50, $70 royalty. So we get these royalties after death. And it is never too late for us as fathers and mothers to do the three of them, not just one, 3 of them. Yeah, Habibi.
The righteous offspring, is it because
وَوَلَدٌ صَالِحٌ يَدْعُو لَهُ. A righteous son, and son does not mean only males. It could be son, it could be daughter, right. Female, male or female. يَدْعُو لَهُ. Praying for his parents.
Right, specifically praying, not they're doing good deeds, just praying.
Praying means praying through their actions, not just remembering them in their dua, but through their actions in the community.
Okay.
Practical prayers through their actions. So the Imam asked their students to write. Right. Authoring, ta'leef. This is why the ulum of Ahl al-Bayt were kept safe and they were passed down to us now. Through those writers, we're going to see some of them, some of those writers. And many of these names are written in these bibliographies. We have bibliographies, books of bibliography. These books of bibliographies were written by scholars and they kept alive these names, so we are not forgetting them. One of them is Shaykh al-Tusi. Shaykh al-Tusi, we said something about him and we're going to say today also tonight. Al-Tusi, what is his nickname? He died 460. What is his nickname? The other one, Al-Najashi. Al-Shaykh Al-Najashi. Those are bibliographers. Means they made the index, the list of the authors. Bibliography. Bibliography. So they made a list of the authors. Shia authors.
Sorry, Shaykh, who made the list?
Those two, Shaykh al-Tusi, Shaykh al-Najashi. Tusi died 460, Najashi died 10 years before him, 450. So, bibliographers wrote the names of Musannifi al-Shia. Musannif means what, my friends? Musannif. Musannif. Musannif means what in Arabic? An author. And they wrote their names in the book of the authors of fiqh, usul al-fiqh, hadith, tafsir, in their books. They have two books, and you can find the name of the books and the name of the authors. Of course, there is a ilm called ilm al-rijal. What is the definition of ilm al-rijal? The science of man. What does science of man mean? Anthropology? Huh? What does it mean? No. No. أحسنت. القواعد العامة, the general rules, القواعد العامة لمعرفة, to recognize أحوال الرواة. أحوال, the conditions of the transmitters of hadith. Write it down, please. علم الرجال. I'm going to ask you in the test, what is the brief definition of علم الرجال? You're going to tell me علم الرجال, Sayyid, علم الرجال means not anthropology. علم الرجال, it means the general rules. General rules. To recognize, لمعرفة, to understand, to recognize, to learn. أحوال, أحوال means conditions. Conditions of riwat. Riwat are the transmitters of hadith. So they come to each rawiyah. Rawiyah is a transmitter of hadith, the one who transmits the hadith. And they study his what? Huh? They come to Mufaddal ibn Umar. I just put his name earlier. Mufaddal ibn Umar. They study what about him? Nasabuhu wa sifatuh. His lineage, his family, and most importantly, his what? His character. Is he reliable? Is he trustworthy? Is he honest? Does he have integrity? Did he really see the Imam or he didn't see the Imam? Did he plagiarize or no? When he says, I heard the hadith from the Imam, he did it, not someone else. He did it. This is very important. This is very important. Why do we don't accept Abu Huraira? Because Abu Huraira produced 5,700 hadith in a period of 1 year and 9 months. Too much. How much time he spent with the Prophet? This means that he was with the Prophet 24/7, even in bed. When Prophet goes to bed, he goes, inserts himself, you know. How come, 5,700? This is why we don't accept him. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Too much. Too much. Doesn't make sense. Besides, he was weak-spirited. A man who was hungry, you give him food, he returned the favor with a good hadith. Hungry. When someone is hungry, he's willing to compromise. Naam.
So you said lineage.
His family, of course.
Yeah.
Where does he come from? Did he live in Kufa? Did he live in Medina? Because some of them, when you read about him, wow, this guy was born and lived in Egypt. How come he's... Like Abu Huraira, I'll give you an example. Abu Huraira, when he accepted Islam, it was the 7th year of Hijrah. 7th. When did the Prophet die?
11.
The beginning of 11, the second month. Safar is the second month. The beginning of 11th. 11th Hijrah. Abu Huraira, after he accepted Islam, he was sent to Bahrain. Bahrain is in the east, Medina is in the west. Bahrain is on the Persian Gulf. Medina is on the Red Sea. Big distance. How did he hear the Prophet? He spent most of his time in Bahrain. So how can he produce? So we study his lineage to see where did he live? Where was his family? Where he was born? The place of birth, the place where he was raised, his city, his family. So it helps. It helps to know and recognize the... And our ulama say, لا يصير الفقيه فقيها. A faqih cannot obtain fiqh, cannot be faqih, cannot be certified as faqih unless ما لم يكن رجاليا. It has to be rijali. Rijali. Rijali means what? علم الرجال. Like kalam, kalami. Fiqh, fiqhi. Rijali has to be rijali. He has to be expert in this field. Otherwise, because his tools are the riwayat. And if he doesn't know the people of the riwayat, how can he say this is authentic riwayat? I accept this. Because some of our fuqaha, they depend in their fatwa on one single riwayah. Didn't we study Khabar al-Wahid? Khabar al-Wahid, the singular story, which the Sharia says, yes, we accept it. So sometimes they depend on halal. They say, this is halal. Yes, you may eat this. Because there is a riwayah and I trust the rawiyah. I trust the transmitter. So if he doesn't know him, how can he say I trust him? He must know him very well. So he has to be rijali. He has to be rijali. And because one of the muqaddamat, the introductions, the prerequisites of ijtihad is what? Is ma'rifat ahwalur riwat. This is one of the, I'm going to ask you in the finals, give me one prerequisite for ijtihad. You have to give me this. One of the prerequisites to get the certificate of ijtihad, to graduate, is to recognize, to know, to be expert in ahwalur riwat. The conditions, the characters, the status, the standings of what? Of whom? Whom? The Hollywood community? Huh?
People who narrators.
Narrators, ahsant. Ruwat. Ruwat means narrators of hadith. You have to know them. Okay. So, going back to this, the second thing here. So we are done with this. We are speaking about authoring, and the Imams encouraged their students to write. And therefore, if you want to know the names of those early writers and their books, you go to these bibliographers. Shaykh al-Tusi and Najashi, they have Fihrist. Bibliography in Arabic means Fihrist. When you find the word Fihrist, Fihrist means the list of authors. So they wrote. And it is popular with this title. Fihrist al-Shaykh al-Tusi. Fihrist al-Shaykh al-Najashi. Fihrist means they have written the names and the books of all the authors. There are many. I'm not going to read them for you. But one of those authors said, قلت لأبي جعفر. I asked Abu Ja'far. Who's Abu Ja'far, my friends? Ahsant. Ahsant. And who's Abu Abdullah? Huh? No. Abu Abdullah, when it comes, let me tell you, give you a clue. You're going to learn this clue, inshallah, but let me give you this clue. When we speak in the field of fiqh, when you hear Abu Abdullah, is Imam al-Sadiq. Yeah, when you speak about revolution, fighting tyrannies, and someone says, Qala Abu Abdullah, then this is Imam Hussein. But here, when we are in the class of fiqh and usul, Abu Abdullah goes to Imam al-Sadiq immediately. Abu Ja'far is Imam al-Baqir. Abu Abdullah is Imam al-Sadiq. قلت لأبي جعفر. I asked him, إني أجلس, I sit among people in public, فأقص, I narrate, وأذكر حقكم وفضلكم, I speak about your virtue, the virtue of Ahl al-Bayt, the standing, the fadl of Ahl al-Bayt. So what do you advise me? Imam said to him, قال وددت, I wish that there are people like you every 30 feet. لو وددت أن على كل 30 ذراعا قاصا مثلك. I wish there are people like you who sit and tell the public about us and our virtue and our knowledge every 30 feet. So this Imam was encouraging him and encouraging others. And inshallah, among you, I have hope that the time we are spending, the commute in this traffic, you are all busy, you are all have family and kids, alhamdulillah, and wives. One wife, not many wives. So you going to share what you learn with others. Zakatul ilmi nashruh. Zakatul mal, if I have money, I have to pay part of it as zakat. I have $100. If this $100 is surplus, 20% of it, pay, okay? Zakat of the food, I share part of my food. Zakat of the clothing, I give some of my clothing. What is the zakat of ilm? Sharing it. Nashruhu. Zakatul ilmi nashruhu. لكل شيء zakat. The Prophet says, for every item you have, whether physical, material, or spiritual, there is zakat. You have to pay taxes. So not only in America you pay taxes, even in Islam. You have to pay taxes. وَزَكَاةُ الْعِلْمِ, the Prophet says, and the taxation of knowledge and learning and education is to share it. So insha'Allah ta'ala, you have two qualities which enables you to share your knowledge. One is you are learning now. The second, the manners, the akhlaq, the honesty that you have. Because people trust you. When you are honest, they trust you. They trust you. They listen to you. They listen to you. They act upon what you say. Whereas if someone does not have piety, he has knowledge, but people don't take him serious. People say if his ilm is worthy, really, let him fix himself. Let him fix himself first before he comes to me. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, يا أيها الرجل المعلم غيره هلا لنفسك كان ذا التعليم. Oh, the man who are teaching others, don't you think that one day you have to teach your own self first? تصف الدواء. You are like a physician prescribing medicine. تصف الدواء. تصف from وصفة. وصفة is prescription. دواء is medicine. تصف الدواء وأنت أولى بالدواء. You need to get this medicine first. وتعالج المرضى. You cure the sick. وأنت سقيم. Whereas you are saqim, you are sick yourself. You give medicine to others, but you don't use it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Okay, so here there are several pages of the names of those early authors and what they did. They wrote in every field, When Imam sits in the mosque or even at home, or even when they come to ask the Imam a private question, they have pen and paper. Those serious ones, because he's going to go back to Kufa, to Basra, to his city, to his community. And they're going to say, did you meet Imam al-Sadiq? Yes. Really? What did he say to you? So he has to report back. This is why they kept this ilm. Alhamdulillah, they kept it. The ilm of the Imams did not go wasted. Alhamdulillah. It was kept in books, and the main important books, the first generation of books are the four. For inshallah, when you advance in your studies, you must obtain these books. Number one is Al-Kafi. Number two, Al-Kafi, let me write them down. So number one, Al-Kafi. Who wrote Al-Kafi, my friends? Shaykh al-Kulayni. Kulayn is in Iran, so he was born in Iran and he is buried in where? Baghdad. Okay. The second one is من لا يحضره الفقيه. That's the second book. Okay. And then Al-Istibsar. And these four books are the first wave, the first generation of the ulum of our Imams. These four books. Only this book, how many Bukhari has? How many hadiths the Bukhari have? He has 4,000. If you eliminate the repeated ones, because some of them are repeated. Same hadith is repeated exactly. If you eliminate that one, what is left is 4,000. Here, Kafi, how many hadiths has?
30,000?
Huh?
60,000?
No, 16. 16,199 hadith. How many times more than Bukhari? 4 times. Only one book. Why do you think? And both of them, I'm not going to make the comparison now, later on. Later on, we will make a comparison between the books in the Sunni tradition and the books in the Shia. But why Kafi Kulayni gathered 16,000 and Bukhari, whereas they worked the same period of time, 20 years each. Both of them, they say we worked 20 years to gather these books. But why he had more? Yeah, please say. You have to say. He was what? From whom? Both of them went around the world. Both of them. Even Bukhari says, I traveled, and he did travel. Because in the Sunni tradition, they banned the hadith. Hadith was banned. So many Sahaba died, and the Tabi'een after them died. They didn't have a chance to pass the hadith. He knows the hadith, he memorized it, he couldn't pass it to someone, and he dies. The hadith is dead with him. Whereas Ahlul Bayt encouraged authoring. When you hear the hadith from me, pass it. Don't just keep it to yourself. Write it, pass it. That was the result. We have this amount. Because they encouraged writing. Writings. Okay? So these, inshallah, you're going to have them. I have at home only one book this size. I can bring it, but I have back pain. I cannot carry it. It's too heavy. This size, it has the 4 books. 4 books. These 4 books are put in one volume, but the paper is very, very, very thin. Very thin, the paper. Because these are thousands of hadiths here. Thousands. One book. I can bring it to you, inshallah. Yes, Habibi.
Are all 4? I know Al-Kafi is in English, but are the other 3 in English?
Al-Kafi, not all of it. They are still translating it. Yeah. Still in the process. It takes a long time to finish the entire. Yeah. The rest, I don't think so. I don't think they started. In Farsi, yes, but in Urdu, yes, but I don't know about English. Yeah. Beside, my friends, let me be very honest with you. If you want to learn religion, you must learn Arabic. Work on your Arabic. You cannot learn religion through translation. You can't. You have to read the original. The original has a different impact on you. Completely different from translation. Translation for those who want to just, know the meaning of the hadith. But for a researcher, a scholar, he must understand Arabic. Because the kalima, the word, the Imam, when he says a word, it's different. Nobody can translate it. Believe me, I struggle to translate. I struggle. I can't even convey to you 20% of the meaning when I translate. Not even 20%. Sometimes when I stand on the podium, I have to translate hadith. I start laughing at my translation. No, this is not adequate. I know it's not adequate. I know I'm not doing a good job. When I look at the tafsir of the verses of the Quran, we have different translations. Some of them are funny. He doesn't even know what God is trying to say. Disaster. So I really urge you to invest some of your time in learning Arabic. Invest some of your time in learning and try to get the wording of the hadith always in Arabic. Not just the translation. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.